Hello friends, welcome back to the class of thermodynamics. Till now we have seen about zeroth law of thermodynamics, first law of thermodynamics, steady flow energy equation, problems based on first law of thermodynamics, applications of first law of thermodynamics. Till now we have seen all these things. But there are some limitations also. With advantage there will be some disadvantage also. So now in this session we will talk about the limitations of first law of thermodynamics. Okay, so these are the some limitations. First limitation is there is no restriction on the direction of flow of heat. In first law of thermodynamics, there is no restriction on the direction of flow of heat. Means from which place or from where to where the heat is flowing, there is no restriction on its direction. Now, what I want to see here, what is the heat? First of all, it is nothing but it is form of energy due to change in temperature. Due to change in temperature, one temperature is high, another is low. So whether the heat is flowing from high temperature to low or low temperature to high, the first law is telling anything about this? No. First law doesn't tell about this direction of the flow of heat. Okay. Next, it does not specify the feasibility of reaction. Means what do you understand by feasibility of reaction? Whether the reaction or the process can be practically possible or not. This you mean by feasibility. Where feasibility means possibility. Is the reaction or the process is possible or not? This thing the first law of thermodynamics doesn't tell. Next, practically it is not possible to convert heat into equivalent amount of work. Now, what do you understand by this statement? Practically, it is not possible to convert the heat energy into an equivalent amount of work. Means you can't convert total heat energy into total work. Practically, it is not possible. But in first of what you have seen, total heat transfer equals to total work transfer, if you remember. But practically, it is not possible. So these are some limitations of first law of thermodynamics. Because of these limitations, the second law of thermodynamics comes to the exit. Okay, complete conversion. When work is converted into heat, we always have W equals to Q or equivalent to Q. Whenever work is converted into heat, we can say work is totally converted into heat. But when heat is converted into work, then heat is always greater than work. Same thing I told you, just in the limitations of first law. Total heat cannot be converted into total work. Heat will be always greater than the work. Yes. But when we talk in the reverse, means conversion of work into heat, yes, total work can be converted into heat, but total heat cannot be converted into work. Heat is always greater than work. Okay, so work is high grade energy and heat is low grade energy because heat cannot be converted into useful work, but work can be converted completely into heat. Suppose, for example, if you rub your hands, what you find? You feel hot, heat is generated. So work can be converted into heat completely, but complete heat cannot be converted into work. That's why work is said high grade of energy and heat is said low grade of energy. Some of the amount of heat is wasted, so it is low grade. Okay. Now, second law of thermodynamics. Why second law? I already told you some limitations of first law because of which second law came into existence. Now, what were the limitations of first law? Just write down in the comment box. then only you will be able to understand the why second law of thermodynamics came into existence. So write down the limitations of first law in the comment. Hope you have all have written. Now I am going to tell you one by one. First, second law of thermodynamics tells us about whether the reaction is feasible or not. Means whether the reaction is possible or not. This was one of the limitation of first law. The second law of thermodynamics tells us whether the reaction or a process is possible or not, feasible or not. Next, it tells the direction of flow of heat. It will tell you whether the heat is flowing from high temperature to low temperature or from low temperature to high temperature. It will show you the direction of flow of heat. Next, third limitation, it tells us that energy can be completely converted into equivalent work. Cannot be. So it will tell you the total heat energy cannot be converted into total work. There will be some loss of heat energy. So based on the three limitations of first law of thermodynamics, the second law of thermodynamics comes into existence. This will tell us about all these things. So if you remember limitations of first law, automatically you will get the significance of second law. Someone will ask you what is the significance or importance of second law of thermodynamics. You can write this. Now, thermal reservoir. One more important topic is thermal reservoir. What is thermal reservoir? So, reservoir means anything which contains something. It is nothing but reservoir. Thermal means temperature. So, anything which contains temperature is thermal reservoir. Anything which contains temperature inside it, it is thermal reservoir. Water reservoir, you know, dam, lake, sea, they contain water. They store water. Reservoir means which stores something. Thermal reservoir means it stores the temperature. Now, thermal energy reservoir is defined as a large body of infinite heat capacity. Means it is a large body having infinite amount of heat capacity. Infinite amount. Any amount like ocean, sea. Lot of water is there. We are saying an example. If you take a bucket of water or a mug of water from ocean or sea, it will not matter anything. Okay, same thing. If you take any amount of heat from thermal energy reservoir, or if you add some heat, both things are possible. Taking or adding, it will not change its temperature. This is nothing but thermal energy reservoir. There are two types of thermal energy reservoir. High temperature reservoir means thermal source. High temperature reservoir whose temperature is high, very much high. That much high means if you take some amount of heat from it, it will not matter. It will not change its temperature. For example, you can take a example of sun. Sun is very hot. It is having lot very high temperature. Okay? If you take a small amount of heat from it, or some amount of temperature, it will not change anything. For example, solar cooker, solar water heater are there, it absorbs the heat, but it will not change or it will not have significant effect on the temperature of sun. Sun's temperature it will be not changing. Okay, so this is example of thermal source, high temperature reservoir. Similarly, there is low temperature reservoir, thermal sink, means whose temperature is very low, very low. How much amount of you will take from it or add to it, it will not matter. It is thermal sink. Sink. Okay. So thermal reservoir is a body having infinite heat capacity. It is divided into two categories. One is high temperature reservoirs. One is low temperature reservoir. High temperature reservoir is also known as thermal source. It is a source which provides the temperature. Low temperature reservoir is known as thermal sink. It absorbs the temperature. Okay? Thank you for today's session. I hope you enjoyed it. We will meet you in the next session of thermodynamics. Till then, goodbye. Take care.